Attention, the following broadcast has been approved by Outcasted OC. Viewer discretion is advised. Incoming transmission in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hi guys, Megan Ross here giving you a Full Gear review instead of AEW in a week because Full Gear has just happened yesterday. So let's get straight into these things. 0 Hour had the likes of Claudio Castagnoli versus Buddy Murphy. I think this match was great. It's awesome to see Buddy Murphy have some solo time because we have the King of the Black Thrones going for the tag belts later on the pay-per-view. And it was just awesome to see Buddy Murphy and Claudio put on a hard-hitting match. If it didn't put, like, bums to seats, I don't know what else would. It would literally engage you in. It was a great match. We then go into the Ring of Honor World Tag Team situation going there of MJF reluctantly picking Samoa Joe to join his team versus the Guns. I feel like the Guns should have won this. It kind of sucks that they didn't, and MJF is still keeping this ROH belt until Adam Cole has got the clear. I just think it's dumb. I don't need it. I want the Guns to have better respect in the company. But it played into a storyline because the Guns attacked MJF later with a chair. Samoa Joe didn't really help him because Samoa Joe is next in line to go for the AEW World Belt. So he's not going to care if MJF's injured or not. He's just going to go for whoever has the belt. And that plays into a lot of this whole pay-per-view. There's moments where we even have Tony Schiavone basically nearly default give the belt to Jay White because MJF wasn't cleared. To Adam Cole comes out, but he's like, no, that's not going to happen. I'll fight in MJF's place, one leg or not. I already spoke to Tony Khan. He's gave the go-ahead, which I thought was dumb because you've made MJF not medically clear to then have someone else who's not medically clear defend for him. I was like, what? If anything, this is just me booking it the way I would have had Max Caster come and defend it for me. Like someone able, ready to wrestle. But it plays into the rest of the pay-per-view later on. We get the Ring of Honor World Championship of Eddie Kingston versus Jay Lethal. This match is great because of the previous history they've had. A lot of back and forth there. And you could really tell Eddie Kingston didn't want to do as much damage because he still saw Jay Lethal as a friend. But he knew what he had to do. Eddie Kingston still coming on top being your champion with the little bit of help of Ortiz, which I think is awesome because now this plays even further into the Santana and Ortiz story because Eddie Kingston's going to be like, well, I'm friends with both of you, but you need to sort your own beef out. Like, don't get me involved. And it's awesome. We'll see where it progresses. To add to it, Eddie Kingston has now also put the Ring of Honor World Championship and the New Japan Strong Championship on the line throughout the Continental Championship. And he said if he wins the Continental Championship, he will unify all three. Basically doing like what All Japan did in the past of having like a Triple Crown belt. And I think that's awesome to have. And I think it'll be defended across like all three brands there, which is super dope. I think that's a really awesome way to like give extra emphasis to watch this tournament because now you're going to want to support Eddie Kingston hoping he never drops these belts. We get into the main pay-per-view of Adam Copeland, Darby Allin and Sting. This match was pretty dope because we had all three of them intro with like holding baseball bats in like a triangle. A load of people make jokes about like touching tips and like crossing swords, all that shenanigans. But I just still thought it looked cool. It was a little cool imagery. It was a bit weird. They came out to Adam Copeland's music. I would have rather it been Sting's, especially because it's Sting's last match in LA. It was just weird that they chose that decision. They all had cool face paint. I think it was awesome that Christian Cage had kids singing his intro just to play into this whole father figure thing. It was hilarious. Really made it heel worthy. And just, yeah, the match was great. Luchasaurus doing some cool spots. Same with Nick Wayne. I like the spot where Luchasaurus catches Nick Wayne to then Darby Allin just goes, nope. Runs, literally bulldozes and hits a pair of them, which I thought was dope. You had some interesting spots where you see Sting is about to go get Luchasaurus and Edge is about to spear Luchasaurus. He grabs them and both goes to choke and they both like counter him. Either way, awesome match. We have Christian very much just run out of the ring and run away when he accidentally hits Luchasaurus. with the TNT title that was originally meant to hit Adam Copeland. And yeah, it put me at the edge of my seat. I was really worried where we were going to go in this feud, in these matches. We didn't really get to see Adam Copeland and Christian Cage fight that much in it, so I feel like they will still get a one-on-one opportunity, and this feud is far from done. But it was awesome to see Sting get the win, have the crowd back it, Darby hyping him up, just being like, yo guys, you do realise this is his last match in LA, let's make the room a little louder. And he did hype up the crowd for, like, you know, one of the first opening matches to the pay-per-view, and I was here for it. I thought it was a pretty awesome match, even if some of the wrestling was a little bit slower because you've got older talent. The only downside, Ric Flair being involved, standing ringside to watch Sting, but also then getting involved hitting Christian. I mean, he got hit in the nuts by Christian, so I found that funny because commentary were like, Christian's all doing us a favour, making sure Ric Flair has no more illegitimate children, and I thought that was hilarious. Nigel McGuinness saying it, so shout out to him. We have then the Kenny Omega and Chris Jericho versus the Young Bucks match. I know this match wasn't straight after, but this is the match that's in my notes, so I'm just going to write the go from where my notes have been wrote because it's a bit sporadic, but I feel like these are the matches that have the best flow to kind of talk about. But yeah, I think Kenny Omega and Chris Jericho really do work as a tag team. I very much enjoy their style. Chris Jericho is the slightly slower, more technical, and Kenny Omega is the more flashy, big hit moves. I liked the fact of Kenny Omega tried to stop Chris Jericho going completely savage on Matt Jackson and tagged himself in to push Chris Jericho aside and be like, look, let's wrestle fairly. To then Matt weren't having it, went savage on Kenny, and the match just got dirtier. More moves were more sporadic. There were cheap shots and just hard-hitting wrestling. And I think it was really interesting to see the Young Bucks brought out a one-winged angel on Kenny, and Kenny nearly didn't kick out. And I was like, what's going on? But luckily, Kenny Omega and Chris Jericho won in this. For me, they did need to win, and I like the fact the Golden Jets are now getting a number one contenders opportunity at the tag belts, because this just adds to Young Bucks' frustration, tantrums, like the way they kicked off, how they have. I think this adds to the story, and they are going to be such evil heels going forward. It's going to be a lot of fun. We then go to the best match of the night for me, was the Texas Death match between Hangman Adam Page and Swerve Strickland. Swerve just did what Swerve does best, hyped up the crowd with his song, did incredible wrestling like always. Hangman wasn't here for it. He just wanted to be gory, beat the crap, try and end a man's career. We had staple guns involved. We had barbed wire chairs. We had like discus lariats and buckshot lariats with barbed wires around. We had the cylinder block thrown at someone. Brian Cage coming and power bombing people on barbed wire and like broken bits across the floor. Like the match was insane. Like there was grim parts to it where me, who watches deathmatch wrestling, I was like, damn, this is on national telly. Like, you're showing this? Because I've saw like backyard deathmatch wrestling where they do brutal like spots, and I mean brutal spots, and the whole staple gun, like stapling his mouth and things like that, I was like, I didn't expect that on television, let alone a pay-per-view. And it was cool to see. Like, I was very happy to see it. I genuinely did think Hangman was going to win with the multiple buckshot lariats he did to Swerve with the barbed wire. I think the worst spot in this match was when the barbed wire chair hit on Hangman Adam Page's back, and part of the barbed wire came loose and like caught around his face. It looked like it stabbed him close to the eye, but he seemed like he carried on perfectly fine. Swerve did get the win, which was a big shock to me, but I also did want Swerve to win. I understand a lot of people wanted a trilogy of Hangman Adam Page and Swerve, but I feel like there was no way you could top that match. And this is an example of how you do deathmatch wrestling when feuds get too personal. You need to book matches like these to elevate that feud and make it the, we nearly killed each other in that ring. This is the end of the story. You know you lost to me. You know you can't go any further than you ever have. And they made it very clear about, like, Hangman's never lost a death match. Hangman's never lost a Texas death match. And look what Swerve did. So hopefully this now shifts Swerve to focus on maybe some other elite members, maybe some other champions, maybe the Intercontinental, maybe the World Champion. Maybe he's going to start attacking some of the other people and add to his story there. We will have to see where it goes, but I am very happy with that storyline. The match was intense, moves, just all of it perfect. Nothing to complain at with that feud there. We then get the TBS Championship of Chris Statlander, Sky Blue, and Julia Hart. They all shelled out. They had really cool gear. They all had very interesting approaches to everyone in the ring. You kind of see Sky Blue look like she didn't want to go against Julia at the start and just focus Statlander, but Julia didn't care. She went for the pair of them. So there's still like a will they, won't they between Sky Blue and Julia Hart involving House of Black. And the match was incredible. Sky Blue hitting multiple code blues I thought was sick. You tried to have Statlander do her Wednesday Night Fever, and she missed it several times. Julia Hart doing what Julia Hart does best, sneaks her opportunities and really synced in moves when she needed to. And your new TBS champion is Julia Hart. I'm glad they pulled the trigger on it. I feel like it's her time. We have watched Julia Hart grow from having this cheerleader gimmick. She didn't even really feel comfortable in herself being with the Varsity Blondes, to now she's very much found her element and who she is as a wrestler with the House of Black, and I love to see it, and I can't wait to see the progression of who is going to be her first challenger. Maybe it will be Sky Blue. Maybe Sky Blue will help Julia Hart keep the belt around. Who knows? We will see where the progression goes, but I am very much here for it. I think one of the best new feuds they could have is Saraya vs Sky Blue. That's just me, though. Carrying on with the women's matches, we get Hikaru Shida vs Timeless Toni Storm. Loved this, loved every moment of it. Shida being Shida, doing incredible knife hand chops, trying to go for multiple katanas. Toni Storm finding any way means necessary to cheat, lie, and get her way around this match as a perfect heel that she is. I loved the running joke of a heel using a high heel to hit Shida in the eye, and she had like a metal tray that she put in her trunks to then do the hip attack to knock Shida out. And your new AEW Women's Champion is Toni Storm. So she is now the second triple time champion, and I feel like this is the right time. This is the perfect gimmick. I'm pretty sure we had Marisha May come out and give Toni Storm the flowers, which I thought was interesting because they're really playing into Marisha May being interested in Toni Storm and Toni Storm still not caring yet. So we will see where the story progresses there, but I love this. Toni definitely deserves it. So massive congrats to Toni Storm, and I'm very happy that happened. We then get my second favourite match of the night in the AEW Tag Team Championship ladder match. And this match was stacked, having FTR, Las Faction Ingobernables versus Kings of the Black Throne, so also known as House of Black, but it being Brody King and Malachi Black, respectively, versus Big Bill and Ricky Starks. I love this. I loved every spot. There were some incredible ones, like Brody King doing a pile driver to Dralistico on the ladder. I was like, what? Then you have Dax Harwood. No, not Dax, sorry. Cash Wheeler doing a freaking frog splash onto the ladder as well, even though he nearly fell. And just, yeah, everything about it. There was, like, incredible spots, incredible moments, really, like, engaging moments. Big Bill and Ricky Starks did retain in a kind of meh fashion. I kind of did feel like it would have made more sense for another tag team to do it, but I understand why you want to keep these champions. It will just make the other tag team champions hungry, especially Big Bill and Ricky Starks aren't like a developed tag team like all these other really big tag teams. So it's just going to put a bigger target on the back, and more people are going to be more angry going forward. So it builds a lot more new feuds, which I'm here for. We then get the International Championship of Orange Cassidy versus Jon Moxley. I really thought Jon Moxley was going to win this, so I was happily surprised when Orange Cassidy retained. I think the match was perfect. You had everything you needed in Orange Cassidy hitting multiple orange punches and Jon Moxley just eating it. Jon Moxley hitting an exposed turnbuckle. Just, it was everything I kind of expected. Orange Cassidy even pulling out Red Room, which was Hook's like signature like submission hold, which Jon Moxley is good at submissions, so they really played into it. And yeah, just having Orange Cassidy retain, I was very happy for. Hopefully this kind of, I don't want to break them up, or I don't want their friendship to kind of end, but hopefully this leads to Hook getting an opportunity against Orange Cassidy, because I'd love to watch that happen, even if it's just a friendly rivalry. But yeah, I was completely shocked that Jon Moxley didn't regain the belt that he lost due to an injury, and I'm happy Tony Khan kept that booking. So we will now see the continued reign of Orange Cassidy, and I'm very interested to see who is the next international champion that will step up. For me, I'd love to see Pac come back and retain the belt. But I know Pac has a lot of visa issues and it's difficult for him to come to AEW all the time. So we will see where that progression goes. Then we get to the main event, as the wonderful Mark Henry would say. We get your AEW Championship of MJF driving down in an ambulance, limping his leg in to state, no, I'll still wrestle, while Adam Cole was stood in the ring. So we were still going to have MJF all along. You just kind of played and baited us, which I thought was a little dumb, but I get it. And Jay White was just taking the mick out of Adam Cole, like lay on the ground, like, oh, do you want to pin me? Come on, I'll give you a free shot. I'll give you a free shot. To then obviously MJF coming down, and the match continues. A stellar match, incredible parts, both between Jay White and MJF. Jay White really playing into MJF's leg injury, knowing it's there the whole time, and focusing moves on it, doing the dragon screw that he known very well from many matches against Hiroshi Tanahashi in New Japan. And I just loved it. I found it very interesting. Adam Cole cost nearly twice for MJF. One with the ROH belt, and one with the diamond ring. He was trying to give it to MJF to hit Jay White with, but didn't. So it's interesting because people keep saying Adam Cole is the devil, and the devil was playing tricks there if it was the devil. But he was there. He cheered MJF when MJF retained, got his belt back, which I'm sad because I wanted Jay White to be the new champion, and MJF could then focus on this devil story, focus on who's messing with him, all of this. But I guess it still adds to it. And we never saw the devil throughout all of Full Gear. I would have thought if MJF is injured, you would have had the devil play more into it as well. Like, put more fear in everything else going around. But we never did. So, we're still left with questions. We had multiple answers. And the massive thing to take away from Full Gear is we had the official signing of the Billy Goat. Will Ospreay is now All Elite, and we will see him at Revolution, which I am ecstatic for. Let me know what you guys thought of Full Gear in the comments. If you like the video, don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment. And I will see you all on my next review. Bye.